All right. What is good, everyone? What is good? This is Luna Eugene, CEO of Universal Production, and I am, yes, excited again just to bring you another episode of the behind the scene in terms of doing a small little review on my AI filmmaking called Currents of Love. So I'm not sure if you guys watched the last review that I did on episode one and episode two, but every week as I put out these two episodes a week, I will be just touching base on the project a bit, just to tell you guys just a little bit of history, the process of what I went through in creating, uh, the film, because this is fairly new when we talk about AI filmmaking and its complication, its pros and cons, and when you're sitting at your living room to create a whole entire film series, it's definitely different. You're talking about it's pretty much a lonely place to be, where you're not interacting with anyone else, but it's just you and yourself, your computer, and your vision, and that's pretty much it. So it's definitely different. I don't believe it's for everyone, but I think if you are a filmmaker, a director, producer, editor, if you're really into filmmaking, I think it's something to definitely revisit or at least visit. And because I truly believe AI filmmaking is going to be the future. How much of it? Well, that I think that's going to depend on the individual. And but I strongly believe that some people are gonna create full film, full feature film on AI, especially with the technology, how it's moving. There's so much things that is happening, guys. And then again, like I said, this type of review that I'm actually doing is really breaking down the series. So this is not about what tools that I'm using and how to use the tools. I'm not doing tutorials, guys. To be honest with you, YouTube is full of videos that actually gives you all the how to's, where they compare this brand of AI versus this brand of AI. I've done tons of different research in terms of what are the latest tools and which ones are better than others, and then it's really subjective to what you think is good too. So there's a lot of information out there, guys. So I'm not going to be here and tell you that I'm going to do a tutorial on that. It's just too much work for me, to be honest. As a filmmaker, I didn't want to, starting this YouTube channel and really to talk with you guys, I wanted to make sure that first it doesn't take away from me as the creator, because I'm a director, I'm a writer, so I have to make sure I spend time to be able to do that. I don't consider myself a YouTuber, but this is something that I'm definitely checking out, and it's really AI that really brought me forth to really, to really do that, because I wanted to. For a lot of people who's not into AI filmmaking, I wanted to make sure that I kind of, walk them through the process, give them some of the process that I've been through, the complications and all. So just in case if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it on the comments. I really do appreciate your feedbacks, comments and all. And share the films. And if you really like anything about it, you think it's very interesting, share it with your friends. So guys, this is what we here to break down episode 3 and 4. And this week I'll be uploading episode 5 and 6. So there's about 8 episodes. So I'm dropping them every 2 weeks. And that's pretty it. That's pretty much it. I've had some people ask me if they are going to be another season two. Well, it really depends, because that took a lot of work, guys. Believe it or not, it took me approximately almost 2 months to get it in. We're talking about putting a lot of hours. If you didn't listen to the first review that I did, I spent approximately from seven o'clock till midnight, 7 o'clock till 2 a.m. just really doing these episodes. And some episodes took me approximately 2 to 3 days, depending on what it is. So this is what I'm here to break down. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this, and let me know if you know how you feel about it. Put it in a comment. Talk to me. So this is for you guys. So this particular scene right here, where we open up with Mia. I believe this is the first time you actually. No, actually, this is the second time you got to see Mia. And this scene was very complex because remember I told you guys from the previous review, this particular character, the Mia character, I actually create the model inside of Replicate. So inside of Replicate, because of how when you are creating a new model, a character model, it's very important that you only show what you want the AI to see. Because if it has anything in the background, and let's say if you have 27 pictures and all 27 pictures have like the certain items within the photo, the AI is going to automatically think it is part of the human, or of the character. So because of that, I had a lot of complexity where she would be looking straight into the camera versus controlling her to look anywhere that I wanted. So because of that, I had a lot of complications with her in terms of putting her by the window, because that was actually the prompt, to have her sitting by the window and smoking a cigarette, looking out the window. And for some reason, it was hard to do that. So when you look at this image here, the facial is actually Mia, but when you look at the hair, if you ever look at Mia's hair is totally different. But then again, this could also go for, when women take a shower and then they wet their hair, and the hair tends to not like fluff, has that large wave, the wavy curls, but it looks a lot more wet. So yes, this could have gone for that, but that's actually someone else that I generated and image effects, Google effects. So that's where I actually created this individual, and I actually masked her face within that. So starting from the neck down here up. So that's how I created the scene, just to kind of give you the illusion that this was Mia. So that's what I actually did here, and I think it did the scenes correctly, and all, which was great. And then this is just a random guy that that I generated. So pretty much here, I just kind of wanted to show you the environment that Mia is in. If you don't know by now, you will get to learn more about Mia, who she is, because in this episode, which is episode 3, you kind of got to see Mia, who she is, slowly. If you've watched the episode, you kind of know where we are about to embark. You get to see her in her environment, and this scene here, you should already tell, hey, it's a hotel. And as you can see, there was a guy in there. The guy left the hotel. Now she's here smoking a cigarette. So this definitely signifies that she's not too happy about pretty much her job. It's sort of like if you look at any other strippers, not every stripper is actually, like like what they do. Some do, and some don't. Some do it because of the fact that they have a goal. They're trying to make money for whatever reason. There's complications, but hopefully, I'm not censored for saying strippers. But anyway, that was one of the major things too. When I was creating this episode, I was censored a lot, and I'm talking not just the picture alone, but in terms of the dialogue itself, the voiceover. For some reason, Kling is very sensitive. Like I did an ad for Women's Month, and for whatever reason, it was nothing negative in there. But for whatever reason, believe it or not, I was censored. Kling is very sensitive when it comes to voiceovers. And then you look at when it comes to the visual. If you've seen Mia, you've seen well, I believe in the next episode you will see her where she's actually a little bit like where she has her underwear. She's not fully clothed. So a lot of this stuff, some of the AI cannot do that. You actually going to be censored. So depending on the AI that you are using, um, that tends to happen. So, but I do find Kling to be the one that can generate an image for you where it's not going to censor you so much in terms of the image, but when it comes to the sound itself, like you can't say certain words like strippers. You can't say, anything that they felt that might be offensive to the public. So Clean will not allow you to do that. So what I had to do at times, I had to use B roll when I show her, but you can hear the voiceover underneath, and that's pretty much what I did in terms of that. So yeah, so let it go through. Yes, this computer is running slow. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the audio for now. Yeah. Yeah, so even the car scene was very, very interesting. Even the one from the beginning part. I wanted to create a very interesting scene where she's actually driving, which is now this is Joy, the lead character. And even for Joy, Joy is created in image effects. Image effects for me is like the AI that I love the most because it has the most um real life look when it comes to the human look. I cannot get that from anything else, not even in Clean. And I love Clean. Clean, I use Clean for the generation, but when it comes to the image itself, to generate the image, I will generate the image and image effects. But speaking of today, believe it or not, like I said, AI is constantly changing a lot, guys. And last week, I believe it was, now OpenAI, which is Chat GPT, now you can literally create consistent characters. I haven't really dabbled with it much, but just today I played around with it, and it was amazing to know what I was able to do with it. So I think that's going to be a game changer. I have not signed up for. I don't have a subscription for um, OpenAI yet. I have so much subscription, guys, for so many different AI tools because I've been trying to test so many different things. So I will have a subscription for OpenAI, but I think that's going to really make things a lot better because of that now, that we'll be able to create consistent characters and even put two characters in one shot, pretty much. And if you look right here, how she's like bouncing, the way she was walking, I generated her through Runway. I tend to find Runway when it comes to the characters walking, they hopping versus walking naturally. So I find that Minimax, Halo, which is also Clean, they are the two I can honestly say when it comes to the characters walking, they walk more like the physic is much better versus Runway where it tends to hop and Runway tends to be a lot slower, more on the slow motion for whatever reason. But that's pretty much what it is. I use different AI softwares just to really test them out to see what I'm going to get. But the images is definitely beautiful. Again, all the images that you are practically seeing are being generated from image effects, of course. And of course, I love the scene because I wanted her to be facing the ocean. I kind of wanted like a three shots where we have her where the camera is actually shooting her from behind, and then we wanted a side shot and then a front view. That's what I was trying to go for. Now, this particular house was very interesting, and this, believe it or not, guys, I literally generated this from scratch. In terms of course, I had sort of like a photograph, and I had to I had a photograph that only shows the inside of the home that you saw before, um, the outside of the home, and then all the inside. I had to build it based on, like, I had to upload the first image. Then I had to ask ChatGPT, give me a prompt for the inside of this home, this lavish home. So right now you are actually seeing, um, geez, what is that character again? I'm forgetting his name. The guy who actually in love with, the guy that was at the restaurant, Barry. So this is Barry's place. But even right now, technically, this is not even Barry, like from the back. This is just a random guy. At this point, I believe it or not, when I did generated Barry, I wasn't used to image effects. So whatever I had from before, I was using someone else. Then I kind of lose the code from that, because the way it works for image effects, whatever the characteristics that you have for the character to keep it consistent, because if you cut and paste it, and let's say you come back another week, if you paste the same thing into image effects, you're going to get the same character most of the time. I didn't know this. I was just testing out the tool. So to find out the original character that I had before, I could not find him. So this is why you see that I'm capturing this guy from behind and I'm not showing any of his faces, because it wasn't the actual character. Matter of fact, this guy looks somewhat a bit younger than my actual guy, but it sold the scene anyway. In terms of that. But I thought this scene was beautiful, and the fact that you're seeing this lavish house and you're seeing the beautiful Miami, and that's what I wanted to capture. So the scenery was extremely important to me. And then we go into the club right now that you guys are seeing. Now, when it comes to the club, here's another thing. Image effects, it is very sensitive. You already know with Google. So image effect is from Google. It's Google image effects. So Google, it will censor you. There's a lot of things they cannot do. You cannot say girls dancing at the club. That's not going to happen. And yeah, I had a hard time. So I had to go find different AI apps that can allow me to generate, like, some of the girls that you're going to see that's going to be probably half naked. And so I believe I generated this from another image generating software that I don't even remember the name of it, guys. When I mean, I use like several different images. But if you really want to know, let me know, and I will definitely respond back to you in the comments. But yeah, but that was pretty much it. Even to do, yeah, see this particular scene here, and even here, if you look at her eyes right here, some of the stuffs are pretty much off, but that's AI, and I had to do at least several different generations before I can even get to here, to that actual scene, because it just never really comes out right, especially if you already have the vision the way you want it. You know what I mean? So yeah. So over here again, yeah, these two characters, which is Mia and also Jake, both Mia and Jake was generated through Replicate. Replicate is where I generated these two. Again, I was testing the apps. Remember, guys, this film is an experiment. I want you all to know this. So I was learning the AI software as I was building this story. And keep in mind, even the script itself was being built as I was going along. Like whenever I'm done with one episode, now I'm asking myself, well, what should the characters do? What should happen next? This is how I was building the story. If you follow Bay Night, the original Bay Night from YouTube, um, this is how it started. We were actually shooting Bay Night, writing the script on set, and we were shooting it. It was a 5 minute short film, so we were very spontaneous like that at the time. I'm very spontaneous. So if I wasn't, this would have never happened. So I'm one of those guys, man, that just like to dive in and then just make something happen. So this is how this came about. Everything was being done from scratch at the moment, But you know what it does? It's almost like the I would say the 48-hour fest, film festival, pretty much. Where get a story, you pick up your team, and then you have 48 hours to deliver. So this is what this pretty much was about. Now, all of this scene that you're seeing with the character here, there, believe it or not, all of this is Photoshop. Because one of the things is there was no app back then where you can actually take two characters, you put them together, do an over the head shot like this. As you can see how I crop around Mia. So I generated her image inside of her model and replicate same thing with him. And then I basically replace the person that was there and put Mia there. And that's pretty much what I did. So anytime you would see these two on scene or you'll see two different characters, just know that it's being done through Photoshop. I'm literally putting two characters together because I didn't know how to really put two characters within the same scene. That was extremely complex. Even now, as we are speaking, there are some AI tools that can do it, like OpenAI. OpenAI is no OpenArt. OpenArt. Now you can actually take two characters and put them in the same scene. This is probably the best one that I've seen so far. But when you think about it, for whatever reason, they're still not consistent. Their faces are not consistent. It works great for cartoons, but for real life individuals like that, it doesn't work well. So that's what I was running into. So anytime you saw two characters together, this is exactly what was happening. And if you look through some of these characters, like some of the backgrounds that are happening, you can start seeing things start to fall off. And like over here, you can see like some weird faces. So these things are going to happen. So you have to check out the episode to really see this. And what was very interesting about this particular scene too, if you saw the girl that was actually standing right next to Mia, and when she came over, Mia looked over, that was actually a mistake. Yes, it was a mistake. And but it kind of worked well because sometime when a girl is talking with a guy, there's some sort of conflict. Then you see the girlfriend comes up like, what's going on? So that's exactly what took place. And I was like, you know what? That's not bad. But some of these scenes for this episode, I believe, was created inside another AI, which it doesn't follow the prompt very well. The images are great, the voice overs are great, but for whatever reason, it doesn't follow the prompt very well. So that's pretty much it. And then this kind of ends this episode here. Even here, that's not even Joy. This is actually someone else that I've generated from somewhere. But because I kept, even the earrings here is not even right. So Joy is actually has braided hair wrapped in a bun. So there's certain things that I have to keep within the character. So at least when you see it, it creates the illusion of the character and so on. But this was definitely challenging, guys. Extremely challenging. It wasn't easy. And yeah, that's how this project came about. And then now we go into episode 4 now. And episode 4, well, this was very challenging here. Yeah, to create this hallway. And then, of course, now we see Joy. And then we see the stud earrings. And then we see the braided hair wrapped in a bun. So this was actually, with the hazel nut eyes. So this was her to keep that consistent look and on image effects. Like I said, you have to be very careful. Like, let's say if I wanted to change this scene right now, so within the prompt, I have to begin to delete the apartment, the walls, and everything, and say, okay, she's actually at a beach, and I have to start to get rid of like taking away each little prompts that deal with the apartment, put her on a whole different environment. So Google Image will allow you to do that. But sometimes it begins to flip around and then it changes your characters. So I went through that a lot where it changes my character. And I was like, then I had to put the prompt back again and try to see you know, and try to get what I want. So this was extremely challenging for sure. Yeah. Even here, this is Photoshop. All of this here is Photoshop that you're seeing, because those two characters are coming from two different AI platforms. So he's coming from Replicate and she's coming from Image Effects. So I had to compose the whole thing on Photoshop, then generate the image for video. So this is how this came about. And one of the things that I don't like about Kling, I don't like how it sort of make the characters look when I create the image, when I generate the image to video, and when we do the voiceover, like the lip syncing stuff, I don't like the black things that are put around their mouth. Like, I don't know if you guys pay attention to that, but there's a lot that goes on, in which I don't physically like. But like I said, this stuff is going to get better, and this is just the way it is. And even here, the funny thing is, I think I think this was a different body here too, if I'm not mistaken. This was the different body, and then I changed the head. I had Jake's head over here, but this here is actually Joy, and this scene was very complex as well, especially when it's time to change, when it's time to do the reverse shot. Is very complex because the AI doesn't know much. ChatGPT doesn't really understand reverse shots, so it's was very interesting. So yeah, so that is exactly what happened here, which was kind of tough. And then of course we always have the name of the episode, and then we always show water to kind of show the theme that we're going here for Currents of Love. This particular scene, Kling didn't have any difficulties in generating that, but I've had different apps that could not generate this. And if I had to generate this in Google Effects, this would never happen, to really be honest, because she's coming from Replicate. So it's a lot. Replicate is sensitive, but it's not as sensitive as Google Effects. So I was able to generate this half naked women, which is Mia, and we had no issues with that particular look. And I thought this was a beautiful shot. The walking is nicer than versus if I did it on runway, it would have looked different here. And here, the whole entire scene here that you're looking at is image effects from Google. So this was neatly. I think I got exactly what I wanted. As you can see, she is covered. So I could have never got her the way I've had Mia. Google Effects just not gonna go for that. So this was very challenging as well because every time it sees the words lingerie, and for whatever reason, it tends to act up. So that's the censorship is one of the most challenging things as well when you talking about AI filmmaking. As you get into it, censorship for the audio, censorship for the images as well. But the picture can come out real nice. I really love Joy on this scene here, and the facial expressions and everything, and even me here. So this particular scene here, I really love. I'm seeing like Mia coming to life in this particular scene. Beautiful scene. Yeah, and even the house for her was very critical as well. And here, to tell you guys how I got this shot, and as you can see, uh, it somewhat looks like Mia, but not exactly. So there's something called frame to frame, where I use actually two frames, which was a photograph of the club itself, and then a full photograph of Mia. And then so what we did, it uses those two shots and it puts them in one frame. But what I find out that happened is it never really works exactly how I want it to work, where the character's face is exactly how it's supposed to be. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work well. So it really depends. But that's how I was able to create this particular scene before she actually goes in the office to see Ricardo. pretty much. So that's what we are dealing with. Now, this scene was very complex. For whatever reason, don't ask me why. I can never get this guy to look as realistic as possible. Like when you look at the other characters, they look somewhat, and this guy is actually generated in Google Effects. Keep in mind, I was telling you guys that anything you generate in Google Effects, it gives you the most lifelike human look as possible versus the other apps. But for whatever reason, I could not get this guy, even though I put photorealistic. That didn't work for some reason. To me, in my opinion, he looks somewhat something like you see like in a game, like like a 3D look sort of type of thing. I think he is the only character that didn't look, you know, like human. Because I try to make things to look as human as possible, and for some reason I didn't get that. And over here, if you're looking at this image, this is not actually Mia. This is actually someone else that I had to generate. So this whole image here was generated inside of image effects, because keep in mind, Mia is generated inside of replicate AI. So to get to get both of them into the shot was very tricky, because you don't know, you can't tell that that's Mia because you're seeing it from behind. So that was the trick, the tricky part. So now when it gets to here now, you're seeing Mia. So all of this was generated inside of replicate. So I would say in Mia's world, um, and it has a different type of look. But even this guy here is no longer Ricardo. That's not the same exact guy. As you can see, it's two different guys. So there's a lot of inconsistency that you will see through the project, because all it is, again, AI just not there to give you those two characters that's going to be consistent within the same frame. So it's a lot of cut and paste and all. And even the cigarette here, he's not even holding the cigarette right. So you're going to see a lot of things like that. That's pretty much going to be off. So yeah. So that's one thing that yeah, I and then the voiceover here, I want to say shout out to Marcos, who actually lended me his voice, where I could have got this voice, because I wanted more of a like a Spanish accent sort of type of thing for Ricardo. So he was able to do that. So shout out to you, Marcos, for putting this together. But yeah, but I thought this shot looks pretty well, and I had to do what I had to do. Thank God for a little bit of Photoshop, and that's how I was able to put a lot of scenes into the same, yeah, into the same scenes. Pretty much. As you can see, the hair's a bit different when you look at it. It's not the same, but it gives you the illusion that it is, but it's not. Well, so welcome to AI filmmaking. And then right here, I love this scene here, man. This is all Google effects. See how real that looks? You would think that's an actual real photo. Same thing for the car here. All this was generated inside of now this particular scene that you're seeing here with Barry coming into this scene. I actually as I used two separate images where I had Barry alone and then I had her alone, Joy. But for whatever reason, the scene didn't play out the way I wanted to play out, because I wanted him to kind of walk in the scene slowly. Then he looked at her. He never actually did that. And so there was some funky stuff that happens in the beginning. I didn't pretty much like it, so I only got a few seconds of it. That's why you see he kind of like stepped into the scene. Um, yeah, and then from there, you've never really seen him look at her. He looked. That's a separate shot within itself. But I kind of just put the voiceover over him. Same thing with her. just to kind of put these two scenes, two characters together. But in reality, this was a bit complex. I did so much generation. Now this is one whole scene by itself, so there's no cutting here, no Photoshop here. This was within itself, and this was it, and that was the end of the episode 3 and 4. So guys, hey, like I said, AI filmmaking may not be for you, and that's okay. But if you are a filmmaker, I highly recommend that you definitely, you know, try to get into film, AI filmmaking, understand it, because it has so much different benefits that you can use it for. You don't have to do a whole entire series or film like I did, but you can use, like, if you look at some of the backgrounds, some of the cutaway scenes, you can actually use that in a real film. You can actually do that. So in a live action film. So I just want to say, guys, just go out there, just be creative. And sometimes I know it may feels like you don't have the crew, you don't have the manpower, you don't have the funding to make films, but you got to keep moving. If you need to write during that period, that's what I do. When I'm not shooting, I'm writing. When I'm not writing, I'm playing with AI. It's only gonna make me better. So that's what you got to do, guys. So you have to protect your mental no matter what. At the end of the day, that's what matters. It's not just you being a filmmaker, but making sure you're protecting your mind, because it's so important that you are stay spiritually connected, you are intact with yourself, your true self, and you are making the type of films that resonate to you, the type of films that you want to reach out to, and really educate and empower others, because that's what I do. The films that I make, I wanted to touch and reach out to the masses, and hopefully they can see something within my film that's so educational, empowering, and so on. So I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. This week we will be showing episode, I believe, 5 and 6. So please stay tuned, check it out, share it, comment below, let me know what you think. It's extremely important. And guys, this is new to me. I've never been on YouTube. And like I said, anything you want to know in terms of what type of tools that's out there, you can text me, email me. But there's tons of information out on YouTube, resources that you could learn from. There's a bunch of guys that's doing such a great job. So this is what they do. But me, I'm just breaking down the series as we go through the whole season of Currents of Love. So, guys, thank you so much. And I thank you all, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and also subscribe. Thank you, guys.